In this video, I wanted to show you an Android app. We're going to read a raw text file and parse the data. So there will be two delimiters. It will be line delimited and then also slash delimited. So we're going to have information about dogs, dog breeds. So there'll be several properties of dog breeds, and then we'll have several dog breeds. So that's what's in the file, and we'll read a raw resource text file. And we're going to make a Kotlin class, no methods, just sort of a data class. And then using the data that we read in, we're going to make an array list of objects of our class, and then sort of display properties of dogs based on a user selected dog from a spinner. The code for this app can be found at the URL scene. Okay, so we've played this game before in previous videos. So there is a text view, a spinner to choose a dog. There is an image view of the dog and some text views to display different properties. So here it is in the layout resource, the activity_main. There's the text view, then says pick a dog breed. There is the spinner, which we will populate with the names of dogs. There's the image view to show the dogs. Text view to show the height property, text view to show the color property, text view to show the dog characteristics. Okay, so that is the layout resource. Here is the raw resource, this text file in the raw folder with dog names. So each dog is on a line, and then each line has slashes between different properties: the name of the dog, the height of the dog in inches, the colors of the dog, the characteristic of the dog. Okay, so that is the text file in the raw resources. One more time, the raw folder is not there when you start sort of a Hello World project. You right click on res, say new and directory, and type in raw in small letters, and then you can paste that file there. Then I have in the drawable folder, which was there when I made the Hello World project, I have pasted in here in Android Studio, right clicked on drawable and pasted in some images of dogs. And I have to respect the naming scheme of Android: small letters, no spaces, numbers. I mean, I don't have any numbers, but numbers would be allowed, but I can't start with numbers. I have file extensions, but when we use the resource name, we will not include the file extension. So those are my resources: layout, text file, drawable resources. Now let's look at the code. This time we have two code files, one the dog class and the other one the main activity. Now, when I started the Hello World project, there was a main activity, but there was not this dog file, this dog class. So I right clicked on, basically you can sort of, this is sort of like your package, if you will, and you right click and can say new, and then there is a Kotlin class file. So I click that, and it will ask me to name it, and that gave me the package, that gave me the name of the class, that gave me in the opening curly bracket, gave me the closing curly bracket, and then I filled in a list of properties and a constructor. So this, by right-clicking and saying new Kotlin class and then naming it, that set up line 1, line 3, and what is now line 20, and then I filled in this middle. And so again, keeping this class pretty simple and making it mostly just about properties. So I'm declaring some properties: the breed, the average height in inches, the colors, and the characteristic of the dog. And then I have a constructor. And I'm assuming I'm working with a constructor where I need I'm assuming I'm going to know all four things as I'm instantiating a dog, as I'm making a dog. I'm going to know the breed, the average height, the colors, and the characteristics. Now, when you have a constructor and you're setting the properties of your object, then you have these arguments that come in. We'll have to make sure we have the types and the ordering lined up between when we're using the constructor and how we set it up over here in the class. But this has to match. So the argument you find in the constructor has to match in these assignment statements down here, has to match the right-hand side, whereas the left-hand side that comes along with the word this has to match our properties up here. Now, it is some people's convention to make them the same, to say breed, 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 breed in all four places. But these are the two, these two must match, and those two must match. But, and some people will work with all four of them the same. Okay, so that is our class and its constructor. The setters and getters and sort of older fashioned languages than Kotlin, you might have to explicitly write some setters and getters, but they will sort of come automatically. So it will assume that when I have declared properties that I need setters and getters for those properties. So that will come. Okay, so let's now look at the main activity. Connect interface to code, spinner, image view, text view, text view, text view, for the height, the color, and the character of the dog. Here I am going to make an array list of my dog objects. So now I'm using dog here as a type, but I have a class, and the class is in the same package as the main activity. So I don't have to import it. It's within the same package, so it's sort of understood in this namespace. And I'm making an array list of objects that are going to be of the dog type, and I call that breeds. I'm going to read my data file. So here's my r.raw.dog_data. That's my raw resource, which was a text file. I'm opening that raw resource, which is creating for me a stream. I'm going to work with it I have two delimiters, lines and then slashes. And so to work with the line delimiter, I'm going to start with a buffered reader. So I'm going to take the input stream and make a buffered reader out of it. And then I'm going to read all the lines at once. So I'm using the line as a delimiter, but I'm reading everything at once, at least within one statement in Kotlin. And that makes this array of strings or list of strings. I'm calling here lines. Then I have, I want to populate my spinner. I want to populate my spinner with just the names of the dogs. So I'm going to go through and parse these lines, and I'm going to grab the first token and add it to this dog names so that I have something to populate my spinner. And I'm also going to take then also all the elements and instantiate a dog and add it to my array list of dogs. So that's here in this for loop. So I have an array lines. I have looping over those lines. So my sort of dummy variable name is called item. That will be a line element. I'm going to split that line element on the slash delimiter, creating for myself tokens. The 0th token, the first token, is the name of the breed of the dog. I'm adding that to my dog names list, which is going to then be used in my array adapter to populate my spinner. Then I'm taking my tokens, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And when I split tokens, I split a string, and it's assumed that all these things are strings, but my second argument here was an integer, so I cast it as an integer, and this matches the signature of my constructor. So the name of the dog, the height in inches as an integer, and then I think it was the colors and the characteristic of the dog. So that is the right signature for my constructor. So I am instantiating an individual dog, and then I'm adding that dog to my array list of dogs. So now I have all my information loaded up in this breeds array. I'm taking my simpler just dog name array and setting that, using it to establish my array adapter. So this is a code array version of the array adapter as opposed to the resource array. And once I have my array adapter, we use it in conjunction with the spinner to populate the spinner. And then we're going to have our spinner event. So there are two methods. One of them is when nothing happens. I always leave that blank. But when the user sort of successfully chooses a dog from the list, and then I tend to work with the two properties. The view is when I do a drop-down list, the thing that I see is a view. So if I chose Border Collie, that would be a view, which happens to be a text view with the word Border Collie in it. And then I also get the position starting at 0. So Border Collie would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would be a 5 because it's the 6th item in the list. I'm toasting out the name of the dog just to show that I can. So that's showing me working with the view here. And then I'm also taking that, so I'm taking the view, casting it as a text view, getting its text and converting it to a string. And that was the name of a dog. And then my drawable resources were the names of dogs, but one, all small letters, spaces replaced by underscores. So I'm creating from the name of the dog, I'm creating the drawable resource name by all small letters, getting rid of spaces in favor of underscores. And then I have a resource name. In my next line here, I am using the name that I just constructed and getting the corresponding identifier, getting the ID, which is some number. I'm looking for this name among the drawable resources and within the package namespace. And I get the ID, and when I have the drawable resource ID, then I can use it to set the image of the image view. And then I have the ith dog. So I have my array list of dogs, which I call breeds, and I know which one I selected. It's the one with an index I. And then I'm using that information to get the average height of the dog, the colors of the dog, the character of the dog, and putting that information into the corresponding text view. And now here I am sort of at the bottom of my file. Thank you.